Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast. I'm Jeff Stanfield. This podcast is brought to you by Lucky Duck. And who are you?
That's quite an intro, Jeff. I'm Andy Shaver, looking across the way at the most sexy motherfucker to ever come to the Big Honker Lodge.
Whoa. I'm sitting on this side of the table.
Oh, okay. Well.
No, I think you got it right, dude. Yeah, keep going. Keep going with that.
Sexiest motherfucker that I've ever seen, Mr. Andy Bennett. You're also one of the funniest guys that I know.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, well, hard for hours, beautiful man.
Hard
long
for
blonde
hours.
hair. Yeah,
Likes
I'm good.
long walks on the beach,
Right.
Good
Right.
with animals and
Holding
kids.
hands. I'm somewhat of a romantic. I like walking in the rain. All that shit.
Right now, with all the face paint on from the hunt this morning, you look like a wrestler after a bad night.
Yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Scoot this a little
worn
bit
out.
closer to you. You can move this. Yeah, just scoot it. Scoot it right up to your face.
That better?
Perfect.
All right.
So, Andy,
People freak out if they can't hear you.
and you got a hell of a story. You've been to how many countries?
Been to 135 different countries.
Did you have sex in all of them countries?
Most of them. I was in Ghana, in East Africa, and yeah, I a little pause there in Ghana. Nah, not so much Ghana, but everywhere else, pretty much.
What was wrong with Ghana? The quality wasn't very good?
Yeah, it's Ghana. Dude, I don't know how to say it, and if there's any Ghanaianese people listening, I so apologize for that. Her dress was kind of dirty. She was only asking for I don't know, $18. I just felt uncomfortable about it. So for all you Ghanaianese, I apologize. Your hookers are just not. Yeah, I was like,
Who's got the best hookers in the world?
Australia.
Australia does?
Well, Australia, and it depends on who you know, because I'll bet there's some badass ones in Knox City. I just haven't found them yet.
Local talent's not real good here, probably.
Well, it all depends on what you call talent, local, I mean, each word has a definition. Let's get to the bottom of that, because perhaps there's somebody, it only takes one to make you a record maker, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, there's one girl in Knox City that will do things to you that you can't find in Thailand, so...
And we were talking about that today. Evidently, in Bangkok, there's a special place. What was it called?
I don't get paid by them, and this is not a paid endorsement for the Soy Cowboy, but for everybody listening, as a responsible father, stay out of the Soy Cowboy. But if you go, pick me up a T-shirt, because mine's all busted up.
So what's so special about the Soy Cowboy?
It's Disneyland for adults. It's Thailand and Bangkok. There's strippers, there's sex shows kind of thing. It's kind of like a Disneyland for adults in Thailand. And it's definitely worth going to just for the story. And a lot of my stuff is kind of like a story, but it makes you wonder if it's true, like the Ned Roberts shit. Dude. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. But in Thailand, it's a lot more liberal than, a lot of different places that you go to. So you can see stuff in Thailand. They do different shows, and they all revolve around young, beautiful Asian women putting things in or throwing things out of their vagina. Dude, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's natural.
Now,
You're on this mic too, buddy.
What's the wildest thing you ever seen shoved in a vagina then?
A dove. An actual
dove?
bird. Yeah.
was this in the Soy Cowboy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. yeah. And you know what? That son of a bitch flew right out, too. It's like a birdhouse. So, if anybody else out there has seen that, Roger, right? You get that shit.
So we should back up a little bit.
IKR, I know,
because
right?
we're full-fledged into this. You were in the military. This is how you've traveled the world. You were in the military.
I was.
You became a
legendary Texas lawman after the military.
That's right.
Yeah,
and Ned Roberts killed with your gun allegedly.
Well, after I got done being a federal agent, I needed a job, so I was running some Molly up the Ohio River Valley. So yeah, and some dude got in the way. And like I told you out in the field, dude, as far as suicide goes, if I got a problem big enough where somebody's got to die, it ain't gonna be me. So poor Ned Roberts.
He did. He missed the burn. He said, "Fucking shot Ned Roberts with this gun. I think it's haunted."
Yeah. Never shoot a dude with your hunting rifle, dude, because it doesn't work right. Your gun rejects that. Ned Roberts took 5 shots to the face, and now my gun's haunted, and I can't use it to kill a goddamn goose. That's fucked up.
So this is how you've traveled the world, is because you were in the military. You became an ATF agent. You're a bombed guy.
Can we beep out the ATF?
Sure, we can.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
So
we
that
can.
way I can be whatever kind of agent I want.
You were a special agent. The most
Actually,
most special variety.
I wasn't even that.
You're special to me.
I was a sworn law enforcement officer, explosives enforcement officer. So, plain clothes badge, limited arrest authority, like all federal agents. But my whole job is explosives cases. That's it. All I did was explosives cases. So, you don't have to beep out ATF. I'm just kidding. But I'm thinking, dudes that listen to a duck hunting podcast, dude, like they're gonna really engage and love a ATF guy.
The thing about this is, yeah, because we need more alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So you're kind of a buzzkill in that
I
way.
was with a little-known bureau that regulated rubber dicks and vibrating toys. That's what I did. So, like, if you sold a rubber dick and it had a plastic spur on it or something, and it wasn't filed off, that's who I enforced. I'll throw your ass in jail if you have a defunct dick, dude.
So this is how you've traveled the world. Is your military career.
And ATF. I traveled every bit as much, if not more, in ATF.
Really? To more places and everything.
Weirder places. I mean, the military goes to hot spots that you hear on the news. ATF, as a Fed, as a law enforcement officer, and as an explosives guy, we did a lot of training all over the place, and I went to some strange places. Djibouti.
Which is a place.
Yeah, Azerbaijan. A bunch of different strange places that you don't get to on a map. When you travel with the military, it's always big news, and you're always going to the same sort of general places. With ATF, it's very unique in that, like I said, Azerbaijan, Djibouti, Tbilisi, Georgia, that used to be part of the Soviet Union. Just a lot of strange places. And I've been so fortunate to travel to so many places, meet so many people. And I'm the kind of guy, if you listeners can't tell, I will check out your local shit like nobody's business, dude. I'll be up in your gear. I want to try your food. I want to try your ladies. I want to try to sweep them off their feet. If you're a dude, I might want to, hey, let's see if we can throw some fists here. I heard you boys were tough here. We'll see what happens. That kind of shit, dude. I love being local.
Does anything scare you? You seem like the kind of guy, just that attitude right there. You're going to go out, you're going to try the local cuisine. You're going to try to pick on the chick at the bar. You'll throw hands if you have to. I can't do that.
Here's what scares me. Women, number one. Heights, claustrophobic small spaces, fire, drowning, any animal larger than me scares the piss out of me. Being in a weird, uncomfortable spot, talking on a microphone, public speaking. I'm trying to think. The list goes on of shit that scares me.
But nothing real physical.
Well,
if you had to engage in something with another man, you feel comfortable with yourself.
It depends. I have days where I will be willing to spread my legs and let you smack a bear trap on my balls just to jerk off to it. And then I have days where, oh my God, holy crap, dude, you're scaring the hell out of me, dude. So I have days. It goes on and off. But the big thing is, and I always try to do this. Dude, you're scared? Go anyway. Suck it up. Feel the moment, man. Live for it. And, who the fuck wants to die of old age?
When's the last time?
I give that to Michael Caine.
When's the last time you got scared? Like in a physical confrontation in our country doing anything?
We're being broadcast internationally right
yeah,
now. Yeah,
good.
About 3 minutes ago, I was fucking terrified. How about that? I'm trying to think of a really good answer for the last time I was scared. That's actually a true answer. Dude, we're being broadcast to a million people. I'm like, holy crap. I was terrified 3 minutes ago. But as far as mortal danger, like, man, something really bad is going to go down. I think a lot of people, I'm not different from anybody else. I operate on a level where, a lot of the time it's high risk. Granted, I work with explosives and guns, and I work with.
You can't say his name.
You can't say his name.
I can't.
No, we get in trouble with it.
Oh.
We tried to phone. When all the lockdown, or was it the riots, were going on?
Yes.
We were trying to phone a friend. You can't phone a friend.
Oh, okay. Well, I work with certain people that it's inherently dangerous. Today, I'm sitting out in a straw little pieced together metal kind of apparatus with like a bunch of dudes with shotguns, dude. That could be scary. Realistically, with work, though, you're always working at a little bit of a level of a hum, where when I say that, what I mean is your body's literally humming when it's real life right in front of you. You're operating at a different RPM than most people. Your body kind of hums, and you're like, okay. I've been scared my whole life over everything, man. You know, I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. It's managing that, and I'm no better at it than anybody else. I just drink more or whatever. I don't know, but it's managing that. And in a way, to me, that's the most exhilarating thing in the world. You know you're alive when it's about to get real.
Right.
Can you tell the story about the monkeys?
Which monkey story? The ones where I got chased or the one with the gun?
The one in New Mexico.
Oh, yeah. You want to hear that story?
Yeah, that's a great story.
You think your listeners would like to hear that story?
Yeah, I think they would.
Okay, so my job was bomb disposal, and I had a partner whose name I cannot say, but he's a lovely Mexican gentleman with a massive head. Dude was like a 13 hat. So this guy and I, we get called out to Alamogordo, New Mexico, and there's a bomb call, a bomb threat that's called into the local police department. They're like, hey, this is a little outside our skill set. They called for help. We happen to kind of be in the area. So we run out there, lights flashing, sirens going, all fancy and stuff, you know, big time federal heat, can't wait. We get there, and it turns out that it's a diseased monkey research facility. So they give these animals diseases, and then they try different cures for them. So these animals in here, these monkeys, there's a bunch of monkey people out there going, chimps, motherfucker, I'm telling you, they're chimps. I will come to Knox City and beat your ass. They're chimps. Well, I think some of them were chimps, and some of them were monkeys, and some of them were whatever they are, long tail, whatever they are. To me, they're all monkeys. And I got a shitload of monkey stories, man. I don't like monkeys at all anyway to begin with. So anyway, we get there. It's a disease research facility where they give these animals diseases. So the bomb is placed by ALF, Animal Liberation Front, Environmental Liberation Front, but specifically it's your PETA types and your animal liberation. They don't like to see that, so they place this bomb underneath the floor of this facility. So me and my partner are looking at each other like, one of us gets to climb under, and these monkeys are going nuts, man. They're hopping up and down. They're flinging shit at each other. They're flinging shit at us. They're, like, diseased. They're, like, you can look in their eye, like, and the look is real similar to the look you're giving me right now. It's kind of like that, like, a little bit of disinterest, but if I have to snatch your shit from across the table, I will. Yeah, they're looking at you like that, and then they shit in their hand and throw it at you.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm actually waiting to see that. but, yeah, like, they're hostile. They are some angry. They've had their cage rattled today, and they don't like it. So we flip a coin on who's going to crawl under the building, and I won the toss. Always go with heads. Who ever heard of a two-tailed quarter? Always go with heads, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you call it. I'm like, heads, motherfucker. No, there's no such thing as a double-tailed quarter. So heads it was. So Johnny's got to climb underneath there. But these animals are flinging crap around and diseases, and it's like, oh, my God. Well, I was kind of thinking, you know, I don't make a lot of money doing this job, but I don't need to because I do this shit for free, man. Get your ass under that diseased monkey and take that bomb apart, you pussy son of a bitch. Don't be a wuss. Come on. Yank that shit apart. Get! So, yeah, that was that part of the story. Is that everything you hoped it would be?
Oh, I've heard the story.
Okay.
We know there's a second part.
On the way back?
Yes.
Yeah, on the way back. So we come up over Ruidoso up in the mountains, and my partner and I, and he was actually my training officer. He'd been around a long time. I had just come on not so long ago. So we're riding along in this Ford F-350 Econoline, four-wheel drive, custom purpose-built van for us. And, you know, it's designed to carry some explosives a little bit. And we just got done taking apart a bomb underneath Monkey Ranch. And we're like, fuck yeah, we are living large. So from the top of Ruidoso, you can almost see to Fort Worth, Texas, man. It is just flat, flat. A couple of tumbleweeds blowing by and some sagebrush, but you get the picture, man. You can see to Texas from the top of Ruidoso. And there's this electrical storm blowing in across the desert, across the high prairie desert. And it was so pretty. And I'm like, man, look at that. I take the time to stop and smell the flowers, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Something like that, you're like watching Mother Nature, and it was super exhilarating sending that dumbass under the building. I just felt great. I was at the top of my game, man. And it was absolutely beautiful watching the storm roll in. And it's an electrical storm, so you got to see the lightning and stuff. Well, that's right where we were going. So we come down the mountain, and my partner, he's usually a talkative guy. We're talking. Hey, he just shut the hell up. He was like not saying nothing. He had 10 and 2 on the wheel. His face was pressed forward. He has a huge head. I could see his veins start pulsing because we're coming into this storm, and literally lightning is crashing like on the side of the road around us. And I'm not thinking much of it. I'm like, I don't know. When I was a kid, I heard we had rubber tires. I don't give a shit. When you say, hey, are you ever afraid? No, because I'm too stupid. I usually don't have all the information to be afraid. So I'm kind of like, wow, lightning pretty. Ooh, my hair's standing up. Holy shit, that's awesome. Turns out we had like 16,000 electric detonators in the back of that van that are sensitive to electromagnetic radiation, static in the air, shit like that. So I was like, dude, why are you being a dick? He's like, dude, I got 16,000 electric detonators sitting right behind you in this fucking van. And I'm like, that lightning's pretty fucking close, isn't it? Holy shit. Well, more gas, more horns, Sanche. Let's fucking go, dude. Come on, man.
Like that wouldn't even you wouldn't even have a trace of you if that thing goes off.
No, 16,000 detonators is quite a bit, and it's a primary sensitive explosive. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt. I mean, a lot of times you're like, okay, like a knife fight, you're gonna get stabbed, dude. You're gonna get hurt, but you might wrangle your way out of it. Not in this case, no. No, you don't stand a chance.
Can you tell the story about Pink or Jewel or whoever it was?
I don't know. Do you need to ask Jewel? Can I say her name?
She don't care.
She doesn't care.
Oh, she doesn't?
She loves you.
Yeah. She does love you, remember?
Well, are you asking me or are you telling me?
We're telling you.
I'm telling you, she loved you.
I know.
You're the hero. God. Everybody loves a hero.
That woman, I hope Jewel is listening, and I hope she remembers this. She was the most wonderful, beautiful, sweetest, delightful person on the face of the planet with the most amazing rack. And I am so sorry for what, I can't say his name, did when he's like, here, do you want to shoot the shot? And she bends over with her V-neck sweater on, and he's like, got his phone out. Like he's texting somebody. No.
The reason she's sweet is because you're pulling. She's got a bomb on her property.
Oh,
and the guy's here.
I'll go into the whole story. I'm just really hoping she's listening. And I heard that she's single, and I hope she remembers me, because man, she's badass. She is incredibly attractive.
Are they real? You think?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Really? Well, good for her.
Yeah, she's totally genuine. Yeah, like I've seen two people in my life. I don't mean to ramble on. How much time we got? Do I need
however
to get
long you want to talk?
Okay, so I've seen two people in my life that I've seen before on TV that usually you see somebody on TV and then you see them in real life and you're like, wow, you're not that tall, not that attractive. Your nostril there looks like a butthole, dude. That's whatever they do with makeup is amazing for you. I've seen two people in real life that I saw on TV that are way prettier in real life. Number one is Jewel. She's an amazingly beautiful woman. The number two, Jessica Simpson, man, she is drop dead.
You saw her
in person? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where at? Were you working somewhere, or did she have?
Those are real too.
Or did she call you in?
No,
you know how to tell all your love stories.
Yeah, I did this quick stint in Honolulu, all right? And I had a room at the Moana Kea, which is a military hotel, to get in right there in Waikiki, and it's real exclusive. And Jessica was in town. We were at the Blue Moose or whatever it's called down there, and it's Dollar Corona night. And Jessica had just broken up with Tony. She was in the bar. she was kind of feeling bad for herself. You know, it took a blow to her self-esteem. She lost a bunch of weight, but she was thinking fat girl. And, dude, I love nothing more than low self-esteem, dude. When I'm looking for women, any of you ladies out there that are looking for me, low self-esteem, maybe you had an uncle that touched you a little too much. You're my guy. You're my girl. That's what I'm looking for. Jessica kind of had that going on, and, man, she is drop dead gorgeous. Actually, the truth is, no. I saw her at a security detail once when she was with Tony, and she is drop dead gorgeous. So, Jewel, I might need a little help on this, although I might not be able to get it. But, yeah.
We'll just keep him anonymous.
Okay, we can keep him anonymous because I might not remember it the same way he does. I remember that I'm the big hitter, and I saved the day, and it was all my operation, and Jewel and I ran off and got married. No? That's not how it went? Okay, I guess that's not how it went. So I get a call from a buddy of mine. He's sitting about 9 feet behind me right now, and he's like, hey, we got to keep this on the down low, but Jewel has a suspect package, which means, and there, you know, there's a difference in this guy and I speak the same language. Something that's just left behind is an unattended package. Mm-hmm. This was mailed to her house. She has had issues with stalkers before. She has had threats to her before. So now this is a suspect package. And in our mind, when you say that language, we're treating it like it's a bomb. So, okay. I talked to my buddy, and I'm way out west out here somewhere on the Brazos fucking off, and he's like, hey, we need to get to her place, and we need to keep it on the down low. The reason they called us is they don't want a big show, big production. Okay, I got to run into town, into the Metroplex. Let me grab my truck, and I'll be out your way. So, man, I'm going 105 in my Nissan Titan, down 114. Literally, all of this is 100% true. It's not like I'm going 105 like I'm going fast. No, the speedometer was at 105. So I'm running down 114. I go through Boyd, which is a speed trap. I'd love to tell you more exciting shit, but nothing happened. I just kept going. So I got to Colleyville. I jump in my work vehicle, which was Chevy 3500 4-door extended cab with a purpose-built box on the back, cop lights, cop radio, cop all that shit. But it's unmarked. It's midnight blue, completely unmarked. So I jump in my truck, and I'm still trying to salvage this camping, kayaking weekend. So my second wife was behind me in the Nissan Titan.
Because you were going camping when you got the call.
Yes.
You were headed out of town.
Yeah, I had 2 kayaks on a rack on my Nissan Titan. I had a bunch of camping gear in there. I had my second wife in the seat next to me, and we were going camping. Well, now I got that whole package right behind me going, again, 105. Now, my wife at the time, she worked for ATF as well. She was literally like 3 pay grades above
your buddy,
my buddy, and I. She's 3 pay grades above us. Mm-hmm. But I made her follow me because you got to show him who's boss. Spare the rod, spoil the wife. You will ride behind me. I got the cop car. Shut the fuck up. So off we go, 105 miles an hour through Fort Worth out to the Western Metroplex near where Jewel is. I picked up my buddy, and we go out to the even further west. I don't want to cough up where Jewel is.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't want her chasing me down. It's 1175 Stephenville Road. No, I'm just kidding about that because I do want her to chase me down. But so we get out there, and it's this box, man. It's like 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. It's a big box. This kind of box, goddamn washing machine comes in. Mm-hmm. It's huge. And it's wrapped in brown paper, meticulously wrapped, and there's an address, a to and a from address, and it's solid, man. Like, I don't know if they can hear this, but it's like, that's wood, man. That's like, okay. Well, first thing I had to do is take an x-ray of it. So I have gear and tools in my truck to shoot an x-ray of it. Because maybe somebody shipped her a washing machine, and I don't want to be the dude that blows up Jewel's washing machine. I want to be the dude that runs off with Jewel and gets laid. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
But your second wife's there.
Don't skip to the good part.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you're getting ahead of me. So anyway, which is a very funny part of this story. So Anyway, we shoot an X-ray of it, and it's a box inside a box inside a box, and it's, you know, wrapped in all this shit. And you'll hear a lot of stuff. I'm not telling anybody out there how to build a bomb or what works and what doesn't, but I'll tell you, when you go try to X-ray through a whole bunch of bubble wrap and shit, dude, all you see is all that bubble wrap. It mucks stuff up. Mm-hmm. So I shoot a couple X-rays of it, and I'm like, well, I mean, there's nothing around this outer and maybe that inner, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it remotely, but I feel pretty good about using something with explosives to open that. So we blow the paper off, we blow the first box apart, and now we're into this inner box. Well, I go back down there to look at this inner box, and it's a goddamn inner box, man. Countersunk screws, 3/4 inch marine plywood? Yeah. Marine plywood, totally polished. It's like, God damn, this dude spent some time. I almost hate to blow it up, but it's seriously suspicious. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty. And in other situations, I've risked syphilis for pretty before. You know what I mean? But in this case, I don't want to die over pretty, and it is very suspicious. So, okay, because she has had threats, and it's sort of dicked up, this whole package thing and where it's from. So anyway, all right, get out a little more explosives, and we blow open the second box. And when I say blow open, we're not disintegrating this. The awesome thing about explosives is if you're bad at explosives, you use a lot of it and disintegrate everything. If you're Andy Bennett, if you're Andy motherfucking Bennett, if you're Andy Bennett, the explosives god, you use just a small amount as a tool to do what you want it to do. So I opened that box all the way up without just a little bit of explosives, and nothing got broken, nothing got damaged. That's the art that I do. So anyway, open up the second box. Well, God damn it, there's a third box in there. And this one was cherry, walnut?
No, it had the Bible and the dictionary.
Was that in the next box, or was that in the brass box?
That was
in the next box.
In the next box.
So another box. It was like walnut or cherry or something. Like, this dude took his time. It was absolutely dovetailed, fitted together. It was absolutely beautiful, which freaked me out a lot. Because when you go into a single wide trailer that's a meth lab, you know what you're getting into. Ain't no big deal. You know, yeah, you're still humming a little bit. You're not at that RPM. When you get a warrant to go search an $18 million house somewhere, that dude has time, resources, and money to be up to some serious bad shit. And that's where your RPMs spin way
So you're
up.
ramping up.
And you're really humming. So this dude took a lot of time. I mean, this dude put a lot of care in this. And that's when you're like, you go from, you know, a pipe bomb with a fuse on it to where I don't know what we're getting into, because this dude obviously has some craftsman skills. This dude's obviously good at what he does. These are dovetailed. I don't know what happens when you open this, but he clearly wants somebody to open this box. Like, manually open it. It had hinges, brass hinges. It was dovetailed together. And I'm like, fuck it, dude. I actually asked the case agent at the time to ask Jewel, I'm about to fuck up this beautiful box. It had 2 brass lifting eyes on it to get it out of the other 2 boxes. I mean, this is a nice box. So I asked the case agent, I'm like, you need to go talk to Jewel. Show her, and I took pictures of it. I'm like, show her this box, because I'm about to fuck this box up. And I don't want to mess up Jewel's stuff.
Right.
I don't know what the entirety of the circumstances is. Well, he went and he talked to Jewel, and Jewel's like, no way, I don't know what this is, and it freaks me out, too. If you're freaked out, I'm super freaked out. I'm like, I wouldn't say I was freaked out. You know, I'm just humming along doing my job. How about you? You freaked out, Jewel? You shoulder guy on or something. But, yeah, I was pretty freaked out. So he asks her about it. She's like, blow it up. So, again, I try to use a minimal amount of explosives, and we open up that box. So then I go back down again. Now, bear in mind, when I say we're blowing this up, so Jewel is sitting at the other end of this firing
Watch
line.
that.
I got you. Jewel is sitting at the other end of this firing line. And, you know, because everybody wants a taste of Jewel, they offer to let her push the button on the explosives. So she's at the other end of this firing line, and they've got this reel of cable at her feet, and she gets to bend over and hook up this machine and push the button on the machine. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple here.
Yeah.
That's basically it. You bend over this reel of cable, you put the cable onto the machine, and then you push the button. Well, you know, they throw the reel at her feet, and she bends over, and that's what I'm talking about, man. She's glorious.
I think your
dude.
microphone's off, Jeff. And then she
She's
bends over.
100% amazing. And she's got this very low-cut V-neck sweater, and she bends over to plug the cable into the machine, and I'm like, nothing I can do because my wife number 2 is standing right behind me, but I'm like, oh, man, I sure wish I had to text somebody. So anyway, she fires us off. She's like, yes, open that box. So we go through the same procedure for the third time. Blow open that box, a little bit of explosives. It opens up, and inside was the lost verses of the what?
Dictionary and a thesaurus.
A dictionary and a thesaurus was inside it.
Bible. A dictionary and a Bible.
A dictionary and a Bible was in it. And I should remember this. I mean, I went down, first person down there in case it's a bomb. I went down, took pictures of what I saw. I come back up, and I talked to the case agent, buddy of mine, and I'm like, I don't know what this means to you, but it's freaking the shit out of me because it's the lost verses of the Bible or a Bible or something, religious scripture, and a dictionary.
With all the locks.
With that, and underneath that, there was a brass box, like nothing I had ever seen, like a handmade brass box with 4 padlocks on each side of the 4 sides of this square.
How was she
box.
supposed to get into this?
I think she was supposed to be a really good student of the Bible and use the dictionary to look up key words to figure out the combos to the locks or something.
Jesus.
I mean,
This is some movie bullshit.
I don't know how Jewel was supposed to figure that out, but I offered to sit there and try with her.
Hey, you was going to tutor her. You're a gentleman.
Tutor.
Tutor.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I tutored the shit out of myself in your bunkhouse. That's what I do.
Now your
So-
second ex-wife, is she turned on by like you're saving the day, you're being a savior. Like she's got to kind of feel a little certain something.
She's proud
seeing
of Andy
you work.
right now.
No, not at all.
Not in the least. No, I might as well have been a plumber. And at a certain point, because she worked for ATF as well, at a certain point, you know, yeah, you're down there. You're literally my buddy and another buddy of ours and myself. Yeah, we don't think about this at the time. We don't even think about it later. It doesn't cross your mind. We're doing our job, and we get called out to do our job on the weekends, at night, or whatever. But my job is to get down there and open up this package safely and make sure there's nothing. And that's what it is. My job is to get down there, open up this package safely, make sure nobody's going to get hurt, report any violations of federal law to the case agent. He's going to start an investigation, and that's our job, dude. It's a job. It's very much like going to Amazon and filling a tote, dude. It is. I know it's probably sounds fancier and shit, but really, that's your job, step-by-step procedure. We work for the government, and the government can suck the happy sperm out of fucking anything, dude. We work for the government, so a job that should be so fun, they suck all the fun right out of it. It's just a procedure. I just get in my truck. Sometimes I got to drive fast, and I will say that's fun. Sometimes my friend over there who's trying to slink away chases people in his car, and some days it is like the movies. But even when it's like the movies, and we've had a lot of days that are like the movies. We had the Dallas ambush of the 5 police officers. We've had the Dallas assault on police headquarters. Some days it is like the movies. But even when it's like the movies, you're focused like a job, man. If you work in Amazon, you fill the tote, you put the tote on the conveyor belt. It's what you do. You just do it. We don't talk about this. I don't talk about this shit, and we don't talk about this stuff to, like, my in-laws, to people that I just meet, people in Indiana. What are they going to do with that? Hey, what do you do for a living? I print Tony the Tiger on a cereal box. What do you do for a living? I save the motherfucking world every day all over the planet.
Good luck relating to that.
Yeah, we have. So really what you do is What do you do for a living? I'm a third-party contractor for the United States government. Oh, okay, yeah. How about you? I print Tony the Tiger on a cereal box. Dude, that's an awesome job. Who doesn't like Tony the Tiger? They're great. I love you, man. That's awesome. Tell me more about your shit. What are you interested in? Last thing I want to do is talk about me because it sounds like you're bragging, dude. It makes you very, very.
Well, we want to hear you brag about how you save Pink's ass.
Jewel.
Jewel's ass. I always called her Pink. Jewel.
I'll bet it's pink. I bet it's pink, all right.
Did you go camping after you blew everything up?
Well, anyway, so we got this box with all these locks on it, and now I've hit it 3 times with explosives, and I'm like, I'm done fucking around with this. And as much as I want to stay here and check out Jewel, my second wife is standing next to Jewel, and I'm like, okay, enough's enough. So got some bolt cutters, went down, cut off. All you bomb techs listening out there, yes, you can armchair quarterback this shit at home. So don't bother calling in about that shit. So I cut the locks with bolt cutters, just open the goddamn thing up. And it was the weirdest thing. This dude had hand embroidered this beautiful, like, Egyptian silk hand stitching, made this note to her. There was something else in there. What, do you remember what it was?
It was the lost books of the Bible.
Lost verses of the Bible were in this brass box. And there was that embroidered thing, right? And that was it, right?
Muslim hand-embroidered Muslim cloth wrapping the
Hand-embroidered Muslim cloth, for those of you that can't hear. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. And that brass box, if she gets 12 new padlocks, dude, that thing was stunning, man. It was beautiful. The craftsmanship on that, I had never seen anything like it. So we got that open, and it's like, all right, we're Pauhana here. That's Hawaiian for we're done, man. This thing is safe. I don't give a shit anymore. So, and what I was hoping was going to be an hour-long gig between opening those 3 boxes, going through all the explosives, firing the explosives, making sure everybody was safe, the x-rays, getting it out. God damn, it's 1 o'clock in the morning now. And I'm like, all right, I've had it with this dude. So I left it to the case agent. Dude, this came from somewhere in Minnesota, I think. I'm like, dude, you need to go stand on that asshole's throat, dude. 'Cause you fucked up my Saturday. You fucked up my camping. This isn't good. So we go back up to Jules' house. So meanwhile, I mean, this is kind of a little disjointed, but meanwhile, Jules putting around on this little Honda 250 motorcycle kind of thing. Remember that? Yeah, she takes off on this little Honda, and she comes back, and she's wearing yoga pants with cowboy boots and a deep-cut V-neck, lightweight red sweater, and nothing else. So I'm like, hey, you want to try on the bomb suit? And she's like, oh, yeah. So helped her get on the bomb suit. Dan helped her out. My buddy helped her out, putting the helmet on and all this stuff. Got her into the bomb suit. So I get her into the bomb suit, and my second wife's there. I'm like, honey, go get the camera. And my second wife looks at me like, are you fucking kidding me? You want me to go get the camera so you can pose? Yeah. My second wife was like, I ain't having none of that shit. So I'm like, oh, no.
She said that, and she was like that in front of Jewel? Like,
Oh,
no, I'm not going to get it.
Was she not? I'm like, hey, I'm not going to mention her name. She's a wonderful lady. She's my ex, but she's a wonderful lady. She is really nice. But I'm like, at the time, I'm standing there with my arm around Jewel, like, hey, go get the camera. And she's like, I'm like, what do you mean, Don't make me wrap you on a beak. Go get the goddamn camera. Yeah, not the right thing to say when you're got your arm around Jewel. So ultimately, we got a camera. We got a couple pictures of Jewel in the bomb suit. I'm sure my buddy made sure that Jewel got copies of those. She's in the bomb suit, which is all sweaty from me. But, I mean, she's right there. She's such a sweetheart.
So your sweat exchanged with her sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Good for it.
That's as close as I got because wife number 2 is standing right here. And she's pissed about the camera now. So my second wife, we'll get into this real quick. I'm going to tell a real short story to finish up this story. So the very first time my buddy asked me if I wanted to go duck and goose hunting, I'm like, yeah, I need to get a shotgun. He's like, well, I got a pump action Stoker I'll sell you for, $100. I'm like, okay. Well, another guy in our office had a Winchester SX3. And I'm like, yeah, I really want that SX3. It's for sale. He's only had like 5 rounds through it. So I really want to buy it. So I go back to wife number 2, and I'm like, hey, I want to buy the shotgun. She's like, well, you know, I give you an allowance, and you better save your milk money if you're going to buy that. And I'm like, those of you listening can't see my face, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty fucking tight right now. So, okay. So, all right. So now, every pay period, every 2 weeks, I go to Travis. I'm not going to say his last name, but he's a buddy of mine. I go to Travis's desk and suck his dick and give him $20 for his SX3, right? So I call up my grandmother, who once owned Ithaca Shotgun Company. And I said, yeah, I'm thinking about taking wife number 2 duck hunting. Oh, did she have all the gear? No, I got to run it in town, or she can use the pump Stoger. And my grandmother's like, well, no, don't do that. Who's an FFL? So I told him, hey, cheaper than dirt down there in Fort Worth. So next thing I know, my grandmother calls me up, hey, I just sent a shotgun for wife number 2. It's down at Cheaper Than Dirt. So I get out of Cheaper Than Dirt. I pick it up. It's in a leather case about 3 inches thick, about 36 inches long, and it's velvet lined with real leather, and it's got a gold trigger, a snowflake receiver. It's got wife number 2's name engraved on it. It's an Ithaca gun with a walnut stock, custom everything on it. Beautiful. So I open the box, and I look at wife number 2, and I'm like, you're not taking that out the goddamn lease at a duck tank. It ain't happening. So now we got to get you another shotgun. So that went home and under the bed. At the time, wife number 2 worked for the same agency that I worked for. She did a detail up in Washington, D.C., and she's a very attractive lady. She has a very nice body, very attractive, long blonde hair, and she's on her own up at headquarters. And she sends me a picture, and she's like, hey, this guy wants to sell this to me for $400. It's a brand new Super Black Eagle, too. I'm like, $400.
Yeah.
What do you
Come
do?
on.
First of all,
Yeah.
what are you doing up there?
Yeah.
Second of all, buy it. And whatever arrangement you made, you better fulfill your end of the deal. But buy it. Get that shotgun. So people are throwing premium shotguns at wife number 2. And I'm sucking,
And you're saving milk
I'm
money.
sucking Travis's dick and giving him a 20 every week. Are you freaking kidding me? That's bullshit. I hope wife number 2 hears this, because I didn't have the balls to tell her. But
Did you
Fuck
get the
that.
shotgun from your grandma?
I did. Yeah.
So you still have it then?
I still have that.
Well, good for you.
Why,
Well, wife number 2's
why
a
didn't you
good girl.
just-
She would have given it to me anyway.
Why didn't you just get a shotgun from Ithaca?
Yeah.
I did. I called my grandmother, and she sent the super uber fancy custom walnut stock. And it's a grandmother. I love her to death. She's alive to this day. She's 94
Can you
years
think
old.
you'd get her to send me a gun?
Grandma? Hey, can you do me a favor? I'm at the Big Honker Lodge, and just send it here to me. Come on. It's Andy, Grandma. You can do it.
Now
How's
you've
that?
also
There you go.
Maybe I can.
you also had a boat that you called the
Oh, I forgot what I even called the boat. But it was
SS Resentment.
Wow, you remember more shit about my life than I do. So anyway, to bring this full circle to Jewel, yes, my wife number 2 did not like Jewel. We got home. My wife number 2 did not talk to me. And wife number 2's last wife, for all you single ladies listening. But she didn't talk to me for like 3 days. She was pissed.
She was pissed about the
the
Jewel.
whole Jewel thing.
But like,
I'm like,
how often are
hold
you
on
going to
a
have
minute.
that happen in your career? It's fucking Jewel, and she's wearing your bomb suit.
Probably more often than you think in your career. I mean, I've seen some famous people, dude. Had a shot with Jessica Simpson. And Jessica, if you're listening, you are the hottest, man. I saw you. Yeah, that's the real deal. And
Hotter
I'm
than
at the
Jewel?
Big Honker Lodge right now, but I'll be back in Metroplex Tuesday.
Do you know Jules kin to the people that are like the last Alaskans that show the Kilchers that live on the island? That's her. She is a Kilcher. That's her uncle.
Is
That's
that
her
right?
immediate family. So see there, you could have some Alaskan property in your future too, Andy.
Dude, as a small business owner myself, the very first one-eyed, handicapped, on the spectrum, half Hawaiian, half Eskimo, one-legged lesbian that wants to marry me, I'm in.
Okay, there you go.
Because I'm going to put my business in your name. Because, dude, we will get if you're Native American, Native Alaskan, Native Hawaiian, you're automatically an 8A company. You get first rights to everything, and that's not meant as an offensive thing to any minority group or anything like that at all. But yeah, if you are a one-legged, one-armed, on the spectrum, autistic, half blind, Alaskan, Hawaiian, native, please give me a call and I will marry you.
You almost married some piece of produce once, didn't you? Or a piece of fruit?
Whatever are you talking about, Jeff?
It was
Now
was
you
it a
can bring it up.
honeydew?
Everybody knows
Was
that.
was it honeydew melon or cantaloupe?
It's a cantaloupe.
It's cantaloupe.
We
Tell
talked about
this.
it
This is a
today.
great story.
You want me to go through the whole story?
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Everything. This has no time limit. So
Okay. Well, I'm making sure that we're finished with the last story before we go on to the next story, but I think we are. Yeah, wife number 2 was mad, and I never got with Jewel, and okay, we're happy with that. The boat.
and we got to talk about the fucking boat. Too.
Well, the SS Presentment. Yeah. Yeah. I saved up my goddamn milk money that she gave me, and I went and I bought a Gator Trax mud boat with a surface drive motor because it was badass, and I was going to go down to Louisiana. I was going to bring it up here, even if I put it in that pond right behind the big Honker Lodge. I'm like, hey, I got a Gator Trax boat with a Mud Buddy motor, and this thing is going duck and goose hunting with me wherever it is. So I loved that boat. I went and I got custom flooring for it. It was great. But literally almost got divorced over rolling that boat in. But
it's your milk
hey,
money.
It was. Dude, I literally lived on coworkers' sperm for like 3 months. Because, dude, I had no money. I couldn't buy milk. But I had a Mud Buddy motor, dude.
Called the USS Resentment.
Oh my God, she hated that. We so close got divorced over that. And when we finally did get divorced, I sold it and she got half the goddamn money. Okay, the cantaloupe story.
Drag this just a little bit closer to you. You can move it wherever you go. It'll go
So-
up. It'll go down.
So this story's been, it's almost hard to tell at this point because it's been told so many times. I'm hoping many of your listeners haven't seen it. You might see something similar on YouTube, and you might see something similar on Instagram.
I think it's
Pornhub.
YouPorn.
You might see something on YouPorn, XNXS, Pornhub, Xhamster. I don't know any of these sites, but I got kids that are 20, so. Dude, trust me on this. I was the first. So what happened? Well, I was actually technically the second
because
according
somebody
to the
told you
story.
about it.
So I was in the Navy, and we were all badass, diving, parachuting, bombs, helicopters, fun time, navigating bullshit, just living. Every kid that's sitting in high school today wanted to live the life that I lived. I'm living in Hawaii. I'm playing volleyball. I'm ripped because all we really have to do is work out and maintain our equipment. And like I said, we're doing helicopters, bombs, guns, diving. It was the greatest experience of my whole life. So we got assigned to deploy over to the Middle East on the USS Saipan. No. Not the Kilauea. I'm trying to remember what boat it was. Son of a bitch. We'll call it the Saipan for now because it was the same class boat. Anyway, Gator freighter, hauling over there with a bunch of combatants, going to the Middle East to fuck around and do our thing. So that boat was home ported in Sasebo, Japan. So went over to Sasebo, Japan, went over to the Middle East. 3 months into that, they're like, hey, we're going back to Sasebo, Japan because we want to refit the ship for about 4 months, and then we're going back on station in the Persian Gulf. So we all ended up going back to Sasebo, Japan, and then we ended up going back to Hawaii. So now I'm in Hawaii, living in base housing with wife number 1, and got a great team behind me. They're just fantastic. Some of the best teammates to this day. So a teammate of mine, a buddy of mine, and I don't want to cough up his last name, but his first name is Darren. Darren was an old school sailor, new to the team, but old school sailor. And he'd been in the South China Sea in the Philippines, and he was a sick, twisted mother effer, dude, and I loved him for that. So he's like, hey, man, I know we ain't got a whole lot to do. We're back here for 3 months. Our command literally said, you got nothing to do. Don't do it here. Go to whatever schools you want. We went to underwater knife fighting school. We went to all these stupid, ridiculous, classes and schools. But they're like, whatever you do, don't do it here because you got nothing, no business here. Okay. So there's a lot of days where we'd just go up to the unit. We would PT. We'd work out. We might get a little shooting in maybe. and then we'd go home. Like, we're home at 9 a.m. This was one of those days, and a buddy of mine named Darren goes, you know, somewhere's in this mix, says, hey, man, if you take a cantaloupe and put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds and you cut a hole in it, and then you fuck that cantaloupe, you just slide it on. All you got to do is slide it on. Don't think about it. Just do it. Just slide it on. Do it. Slide it on. Look me in the eyes. Slide it on. And I'm like, I'll keep that under advisement. 'Cause I got wife number one, you know, and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever been desperate enough for a cantaloupe, but it's good to know. So anyway, about 2 weeks later or so, I'm at home living in base housing in Hawaii. I get up, I'm standing there naked. And, dude, I got that morning wood thing going on. So this is back in the days of VHS tapes. I'm digging around. I'm like, oh, Shaving Ryan's Privates. Yeah, that's going in this morning. So I throw that in the VCR. I go look in the fridge. I'm like, I got a Bimho, basic early morning hard on. I got Shaving Ryan's Privates on. I'm going to have me a beer. It's 9 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I'll have me a beer too. So I grab a beer, and there's a glass top that looks down into the fruit crisper. Sure enough, there's cantaloupe, dude, sitting right there. I can see it through that bottom shelf. I'm like, there's a cantaloupe there. Goddamn. All right. So I grab a Corona out of the fridge, bust open the top. I'm drinking that, and I'm like, well, there's a cantaloupe there, and yeah, I'm going to give this a shot. My wife's at work. I got nothing going on. Why not? So I pull the cantaloupe out, cut a hole in it. And when I say cut a hole, dude, I am making my own vagina. I ain't using one of those doorknob hole saws, dude. I'm like, I want a small hole. I'm not trying to give anything away here, but yeah, I made a small hole. So I made a small hole because I want it to fit right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I made a hole, put it in the microwave, microwaved it, ding, pull it out, gave it the finger test to make sure it's not too hot. Dude, this is not the hill I want to die on. This is not where I want to get injured. It's fucking a cantaloupe. So put my finger in it. I'm like, yeah, that's right at 98.6. Fuck yeah, dude, I'm going in. I'm going in. And I was hard, dude. The head of that shit was shiny as fuck, dude. The hole in the end of my cock looked like about the size of a nickel, dude. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going in deep. You sure you want to do this podcast?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so there's a little bit of pulp in there and a couple seeds, but I was like, oh, fuck it. So I literally, and this is a true story, I put it on the head of my cock, and almost like if you had a rubber mallet, but softly pounded it down, and it fell right into place. And I was like, oh, yeah. All right. And when you pull it out, when you pull it off, there's this suction thing that's going on, and I'm like, that is nice. That's good. That is good. Like, if I could train an animal or a wife to do this, I totally would. So it's like, good. So I'm just getting into this. I'm watching Shaving Ryan's Privates, and it's back in the day, you could always tell the really good porn tapes because they were red. The actual plastic of the VHS tape.
It was before my time.
Was red.
It's all right here now.
Yeah, I know.
You know what
I'm talking about, Jeff.
Yeah. The redder, the better.
I never knew anything else other than it's just on the internet and it's everywhere now.
Well, son, you missed out on a lot because we didn't used to have flashlights either. But now, that's where this whole thing is going. Never had a pocket pussy. We didn't know what that was when I was a kid. Look at you now, all the advantages of technology.
It's just it's almost unfair for your kids. I mean,
right?
Like, you had to work for your
thought
porn.
about unscrewing a mag light and putting a Ziploc bag in it and fucking it. Maybe we should bleep that one out.
No, that's okay.
There's people out there that are like, yeah, I bet that'd work like a motherfucker. Like, yeah, it will. And if you can find, they used to have these like things that you grab and they squirt out of your hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
Full of Jell-O.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put that in a mag light, it's way better than a cantaloupe. I'm just saying. So anyway, so I got this cantaloupe on me and I'm getting into it. And all of a sudden I hear this banging on my door. The guy I worked for at the time, I'm pretty sure he's still alive. He was an E8 senior chief in the Navy, and his name was Thor Gunderson. Thor, like
Thor.
Thor's hammer. Thor, Thor Gunderson. And this big Swedish son of a bitch, man, had hands like ham hocks, man. I saw him bench press 235 like 28 times. Like 28 times in one rep. This dude was a massive monster. He was from Montana, just a legend in the community. And he's banging on my door now. Hey, let me in. Hey, I know you're in there. Hey, I see your Jeep out front. Hey, I'm coming in. Hey, I'll bust this motherfucker down. I know where you're at and what you're doing. So I'm like, there's no way to get rid of this guy, Thor Gunderson. So I grab a towel, throw it around me. I open up the door to where the chain goes. I'm like, dude, this is a bad time. He's like, he looks in the door and he's like, hey, you got porn on. I don't care. Just don't get it on me. I'm like, dude. He's like, I'm coming in. I'm coming in. That's it. I'm coming in. I see you got beer. I'm like, son of a bitch. Dude, the dude's like, sees the porn and the beer. You cannot turn that dude down, whether he's your boss or not. You're like, all right, you caught me. Come on in. Christ. Now I got to watch you jerk off. That sucks. So anyway, he comes in, and I got this towel wrapped around my waist, and he's like, what's up with you? And I'm like, motherfucker. All right. So I open up the towel, and I got this cantaloupe on my hugely stiff dick. And he's like, is that a fruit on your dick? I'm like, yup. And the very first thing he does is reach out with that ham-sized hand, grabs it, and tries to pull it. And when he does, that suction reaches the point where it sucks it back on. So it's kind of going like on, off, on, off, on, off. And I'm like, dude, I will give you 35 minutes to knock that shit off. You have to stop that in 35 minutes. And he's like, ain't coming off. I'm like, well, okay. Keep going. But it wouldn't come off. And that's when I realized, we got a problem here. Well, when all the blood rushes to your penis and it gets hard and now it's stuck in this shape, in this fruit, it is what it is. So the moral of this whole story for all you cantaloupe fuckers out there, 2 holes in that sumbitch. Dude, that is a valuable, valuable lesson that I wish I would have known. It is worth it. It is good. You will try it. You will get a little sticky. Watch out for the seeds. Pulp in your pubic hair. Get that out before your wife gets home. But 2 holes. You have to have that vent hole. Because now it's stuck on my dick, and I can't get it off. And this dude named Thor Gunderson is trying to yank it off.
He's pulling it.
Yeah, and I'm like, enough. That is starting to hurt. No means no, motherfucker. You are literally raping me now. This is sexual assault in the Navy, what you're doing with that fruit in my dick. So stop. So, okay, stop. So he's like, well, we got to put a vent hole in it. And I'm like, oh, all right, suppose we do. All right. So he's like, all right, hold on to it. He's digging in the drawer, in the silverware drawer next to me, and he finds a paring knife, and he starts drilling towards the top of my dick while I'm holding on to it. Bam! Door flies open. It's Darren Kastner. Comes walking into my kitchen. Hey, porn. Oh, my God. Thank God you got beer. Grabs a beer, looks at Thor and I, and without skipping a beat, man, not like, is he jerking you off with a cantaloupe? Never crossed his mind. All he said was, oh, yeah, dude, 2 holes. Sorry. Dude, he never thought about, is our senior chief jerking you off with a fruit? Never crossed his mind. All he said was, yup, 2 holes.
Yep,
Sorry,
2
bro.
holes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, now you know. Yeah, thanks for the lesson, douchebag. So Thor's digging into this cantaloupe, and I'm like, whoa. Hold on a second, motherfucker. Why don't you hold it while I probe towards my penis?
Yeah.
So, okay, we go that way. So now Thor Gunderson's holding this. Darren Kastner is watching. Like right shoulder to shoulder. We're all. Thor's holding it. I'm digging. Darren's supervising. It's a total government, U.S. Navy, spec ops deal, dude. We got an observer. We've got the dude with the weapon. And we got the dude holding everything together on Blue Force trackers. So we're good. So I'm digging towards my dick. I finally get down to it. And literally, there's an audible pop. Yeah, that's better. it literally makes this audible pop, and because Thor's holding it and he's got these hands like hams, he drops it on the floor, so thunk, and it rolls away. And I'm like, I'll be right back, dudes. Thank you so much for getting that cantaloupe off of my cock. Feel free to watch my porn and drink my beer. Give me a second. I ran in, threw on a pair of running shorts and T-shirt, super fast, ran out and said, I'll be right back, got in my Jeep, drove to the unit, went inside the unit, went to the quarterdeck. Hey, it's Petty Officer Bennett, respectfully request to come aboard. I just fucked a cantaloupe, motherfucker, let me on. And the quarterdeck watch is like, come aboard. What was that second part? I'm like, yeah, right. So I go upstairs, and that's where the commanding officer and the executive officer were. I'm like, hey, Captain Dimitropoulos, I fucked the cantaloupe. And he's like, yeah, whatever, okay, I'm busy. And I go to the next office. I'm like, hey, XO, I fucked the cantaloupe. And he's like, God damn it, Bennett, get off this goddamn floor. I do not need to hear that shit, not today. So I go to the next door. I'm like, hey, Master Chief, fuck the cantaloupe. He's like, I'm sure there's a violation of the United States Code of Military Justice in there somewhere, but I don't have time. Get the fuck out of here. So I get downstairs, and I'm telling all my buddies, because if I don't tell every single swinging dick that I got caught fucking a cantaloupe, those two knobheads at my house will. So you got to hear it from me first. Was I embarrassed? No. I got to get that info out. You've got to hear it from me, and I got to be proud of it. So I get down into the locker room, and there's dude, Ace, if you're listening, sorry, man, I'm going to front you out. Dude named Ace Thrift. Dude has a cock like 3 beer cans taped together, man. This thing's a monster, dude. We used to train that thing to do all kinds of shit. His dick is so big, you got to feed it with a flat hand, dude. You got to open that shit up. Dude, we used to give it sugar cubes. That's a big guy. He's in there scrubbing it down, man. And I'm like, dude, I fucked the cantaloupe. He's like, a cantaloupe? That's kind of like a small fruit. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Shut the fuck up. But anyway, I told Ace Thrift. I told everybody. And that's cantaloupe story. Now, normally that's the end of the story. It's a pretty good story. So let's fast forward about 10 years from that, maybe 15 years from that. Now I'm fed. I got a badge. I got a gun. I'm with ATF. I got sworn law enforcement powers. And I'm a whole different grown-up person now. Well, we ended up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at a hotel bar, the great big Horseshoe Bar. This is in the days before COVID, so all the Polish Catholics are out getting their fish fry that night because they can't eat meat. You know, there's a restaurant, and there's this big Horseshoe Bar. Whole ATF dive team, underwater rescue, evidence recovery, explosives recovery dive team. The whole team, which sounds big, but it's like 9 guys, are at this Horseshoe Bar. And there's this beautiful blonde chick that's bartender. So somebody's like, hey, you got to tell the story. You got to tell the story. You got to tell the story. I'm like, dude, there's people right there that are eating their fish fry tonight. How about no, not right now? And they're like, no, you got to tell it. So I'm like, all right. So I proceeded to tell the story that I just told all of my millions of listeners. So I'm telling this story, and this bartender, hot-looking blonde, goes, I don't believe a word of it. I'm like, go get a fucking cantaloupe. Dude, she came back 3 seconds later with a cantaloupe. Dude, okay, call me out. You want to play that game? I cut 2 holes in it. I'm like, go put that in the microwave. She does, and she comes back. Dude, she's calling my bluff hard. And it wasn't a bluff. I mean, the story that I told you was true. But am I willing to do it in a hotel restaurant bar in Lancaster,
I'm
Pennsylvania?
betting yes.
You goddamn right, sir. I wouldn't have let you down. So she brings this out, and it's warm, and she's juggling it between her hands. And my supervisor, his supervisor, people from Washington, D.C., the whole dive team, and the Polish Catholic couple that are there for their fish fry they've had every single night since they was fucking 30 years old, and now they're 70, are right here. And she's like, here you go. I stood up, dropped trow, and pounded that thing on my dick, and I fucked the shit out of that cantaloupe. And it was all I could do to not pull out and come in my boss's ear. I really wanted to just blast him in the head like it was a suicide. And watch his face go, but I didn't go that far. But I was hard.
So there's
If
a
she
lady
believes
out
you?
there right now that's
And
telling
a
the story.
couple.
Dude, she has a nickname. Her nickname is Hardwood Floors because she shaved that thing bald. I'm like, hey, the curtains match the drape. She's like, hey, I got hardwood floors. I had no idea what we were talking about, but as it turns out, I know now. So her nickname is Hardwood Floors. Hey, the Hardwood Floors in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, reaching out to you, giving you a big shout out from the Big Honker Lodge. Love and miss you, babe. Take care. How about that? How about that? I'm a natural.
What time do they have to do their duck hunt?
They'll wait for me.
What?
Huh? Well, it'll be 4 o'clock before we get over there. Are they about ready to go? What do you want to do? You want to end it?
We can end it.
Hey,
yeah, we can end it now. Tell them we're fixing to go. No, we'll do that. We'll just be done with this one.
Appreciate it, Andy Bennett.
Andy,
you got to do a duck hunt now.
Yeah, you got to go do a duck hunt.
I'm very excited about going to duck hunt. But hey, for Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, dude, I got to tell you guys, this is absolute a benchmark in my life. Like I said, this is a true story for all you listeners that don't know me like Jeff and Andy do. I literally have been around the world 7 times. Smoked dope, chewed rope, fought, fucked, Maine to Spain, Austin to Boston, been to 2 chicken fuckings, been shot at and missed, shit at and hit, been snake bit and shot at and snake bit. This, the Big Honker Lodge in Stanfield, folks, you guys are the absolute. I had so much fun today. I haven't been here in like 4 years, but it brought back, like it comes right back to you.
Well, we've missed you.
Yeah, we have.
I've never met a better group of guys, man. And for the listeners and for you guys, it's true. It's very self-conscious talking about places that I've been, things that I've done, stuff that I've done, because it is above and beyond, and I recognize that. And anytime you say anything about shit you did, it sounds like you're bragging, and you feel self-conscious about it, and I do. Really, seriously, I feel like, dude, you don't want to hear that shit. The cantaloupe story, shit that makes me look stupid. I'll talk about that.
I think it's funny as hell.
I'll talk about that shit all day. But man, you guys are like family to me, man. I love you guys.
We love you, man.
Love you
We
very
appreciate
much.
you being here, and can't wait. We can hang out again another day,
All right.
Love it.
and hope you come back in January.
Oh, I'll be here.
And then we can do part 2 in January.
Yeah, we'll do part 2 in January when you're here.
Okay.
We have a little bit more time.
I'm in.
All right. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate you being on here.
Thanks, Andy.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Good job, Andy.